everyone, welcome to Make Moments Matter, a music education podcast, where I share lesson ideas, songs, games, and inspiring things for your elementary music classroom. My name is David Rao, and I am the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. This episode of the podcast is a replay containing the audio version of a Musical Mondays live video. If you're not familiar with Musical Mondays, every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I go live on Facebook and Instagram to share about the lessons that I'm using in class with my students. I give a recap of my kindergarten through 5th grade lessons, and then do a deep dive about one grade level and share the books, instruments, songs, and process that I use to teach the lesson to kids. This podcast episode contains all the audio from the Musical Mondays video, but if you'd like to see a replay of the video itself, you can find a link to the archived video on YouTube when you click the link in the notes for this episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's the show. Hey everyone, my name is David Rao, and I'm the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. You can also find my ideas on Facebook, on Instagram, on Patreon, on Pinterest, and a variety of places when you search for my name, David Rao, or Make Moments Matter. Today, I'm going to be talking about recorder improvisation, like student-led, and student exploration on recorder. And it's a lesson I'm really excited about, so I hope that you'll stick around for that. But before I get there, if you hear me talk about a resource, a video, a link, something that would be helpful, I always put all those in one place I call it the links page on my blog, makemomentsmatter.org. You can click the video tab and find the links page for this current calendar year, or you can just, wherever you're watching, listening to this, click the caption at the bottom of that and it'll take you straight there. Okay, a couple exciting things that are upcoming. On April 26th, I'm going to be in Forney, Texas, courtesy of West Music and Forney ISD Fine Arts Department. I'm going to be doing a workshop there from 9 to 3. I hope you'll join us. It's free. It's free. So if you're in the Forney or Dallas area and you want to come join us, come join us. There's a link to that on the links page if you want to come and be a part of that. Also, this summer, I'm teaching levels courses in a couple places around the summer, and one I want to talk about is the University of Missouri St. Louis. I'm doing level 2, and you can also take level 1 if you're interested. Level 1, there are quite a few spots, so come and join us. It's going to be so much fun. It's a really great course, super beautiful campus. Housing is available. You can, housing is cool because you can like stay and work and be with people who are going through the same stuff, do homework together. It's a really great course. It is this July, and the dates for that I have forgotten to write down. They are July 7th through the 18th in St. Louis. It's so much fun. You can come and join us if you're interested in level 2 or level 1. Come for level 1. My friend Jason is teaching level 1, and it's going to be awesome. So come and join us. Okay, also, before I start talking about recorder, I'm doing a giveaway on my blog. If you have any of my resources, a bulletin board or a centers set or an interactive game or something, and you've used it with kids and you've taken pictures, if you are able to share photos with me, like students aren't in it or students' faces are blurred out or whatever, or no student faces, if you share photos with me, you will get a freebie as a thank you for me, because I just want to see like what it looks like in your classroom. Like, what do these resources look like? How do you make them special for your own students? So if you enter that giveaway, you get a freebie just for entering, even if you don't win in this. There's a raffle too, but if you don't win the raffle, you get a freebie anyway. But I'm also going to raffle off 2 prizes where you can get a free year subscription to my Patreon for 2 winners. So if you submit multiple times, you get multiple entries. So if you've used any of my resources in the past, go and enter, add pictures. That's open until this Friday, and then I'll pull names on Saturday and send out prizes. Okay, one more thing. Tomorrow, April 1st, starts Jazz History Month. And so I put a jazz bulletin board and 3 or 4 different book companion resources that are jazz focused on sale on my TPT store. So if you want to go check those out, those are linked on the links page too. But especially if you're like, what am I going to do for Jazz History Month? Or I didn't realize April was Jazz History Month. If you want to, there's a bulletin board called Legends of Jazz that I made. And it's 25% off. And so are the book companion resources too, if you're like wanting to focus on jazz in your classroom. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about recorder improvisation. How do I do that with students? How do I do it student-led? And I want to talk a little bit about that. So in this lesson, I always love when they're like, you need to post your eye can, or you need to post your focus. I'm like, but okay, these are the things that I am honestly working on in this lesson. I'm working on tone. I want their tone to be better. I want them to work on intonation. So working on tone and intonation, articulation, so like tonguing with recorder, and then improvisation skills. How do we build that out? What are the scaffolding things we use? And then also just echoing, but pattern recognition. All those are things that are working into this lesson. Even though kids probably just feel like it's like a simple little game, but what they're doing, they're working on all those things: tone, intonation, improvisation, articulation, and pattern recognition, and more. But those are the things that I am officially, for my principal's sake, I'm saying I'm working on. Okay, so that's what is sort of happening in this lesson, but where does it start? Well, my kids have been doing, this is a lesson for fourth graders who have been playing the recorder just for a couple weeks. And so their skills are low, right? We only know B, A, and G at this point, which is a good start. We know B, A, G. We've been playing for a little bit. We're working on playing songs. We're working on playing just notes. We're working on echoing. I do not treat the recorder as a pre-band instrument. My goal is not to get them to play reading written notation on a staff. Like eventually, yeah, it'd be cool if they could do that, but that is not my only goal. I want them familiar with the instrument. I want them to be able to improvise with the instrument. I want them to be able to echo patterns and play with other people and play in ensembles, but my goal is not to like teach them as if it is band, because I am not preparing them for band. I am using this instrument as if it is an instrument for an elementary classroom for elemental music making, which is like Orff Schulberg music. So what we start with is just echoes. I just play 4-beat patterns and they echo. So for example, and they echo. And usually when I echo the first couple times, I'll say, I'm going to play, you get to echo. I'm going to start on B, because I know B, A, and G. So they know that B is thumb and 1. And that's where I build everything off of. B, A is you add your second finger. G is you add your third finger. So B is thumb and 1. And I say to my fourth graders, you're never, ever, ever going to take your thumb or your first finger off of your recorder. You will be pinching the recorder with your thumb and first finger forever. Until we learn notes that you don't do that. But like, as far as fourth grade, in all of fourth grade, they will forever be doing this. If nothing, it's not until fifth grade that I teach high C and D, at least right now in the pattern. I'm rethinking that. But thumb and 1 will always be on there. And then we add a second finger for A and add on your third finger for G. That's just why I build off of B. So when I'm improvising, I say I'm going to start with B. Let's start with B and let's add more. So for example, here's like a pattern I might do. And then I would say, okay, here's another one. I might switch to A, but I'm going to start with B. And then I say, did I switch to A? No, I stayed on B the whole time. But I might switch to A, but I'm going to start on B. Did I switch to A? No, I stayed on B. At this point, they're like, are you going to switch to A? And then I intentionally do patterns just so they're recognizing playing back, but then they'll hear the difference once I do eventually switch to A. I don't start out with a pattern like, no, I don't. I am intentional about trying to get them to hear the pattern, play the pattern, and then I'll switch to something when I feel like they really have internalized and got the echo of the pattern. And then eventually I'll get to like, but again, always I say I'm going to start on B. I'm doing B first, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I'll do in another lesson where I start on G and go up, maybe. But in this lesson, I've been starting on B. They echo, they play all 4-beat patterns usually. And then maybe I'll do it like an 8-beat pattern, right? Something simple. Okay, but that's where I start. Then I say, okay, of those 3 notes, B or A or G. I'm going to let you choose one. I don't care which one you do. Well, actually, I probably have them start on B first. Let's do just B first. Let's just take B and let's just sustain, just play that long tone. If I were going to do a visual for what we're about to play, it would look like this. And I've just drawn one long continuous line. B, you're just going to play it and hold it. So let's try it. So it's sounding like this. And whether they have more air or less air, that's going to change the sound. Or if they're, deviating below or above the pitch, it's going to change the sound a little bit. But mostly what I'm trying to have them do is just play and sustain that note, because I want them to have that in their head and also know that they could, like what is, if they're overblowing, it's going to sound different. So the longer that they play and sustain, they're going to be hearing all the people around them. And it does eventually sort of homogenize, unless they're kids who are being silly on purpose and squeaking on purpose, or overblowing on purpose. But this really does get them to stop and listen and think. And I say, so if you need to stop and take a breath, come back in and play. It's kind of choral breathing basically, but we're just going on beat. Okay, so we do that for a while, and then I say, okay, now I want you to play this. And now I've drawn the picture of a dotted line or a dashed line. So if you're going to play that, it might sound like this. It's just a B. It's kind of a blink. Can you blink just that letter B? Cool. Okay, now can you make a pattern out of it? Maybe something like this. Whatever you're on that B, you're going to come up with a pattern. It might sound like this. I don't care. Just as long as you're doing some kind of pattern, easy as. That's fine too, as long as you're staying on that B. And then I would say, okay, now try it with A, now try it with G. And they get to play and just play around with that. Again, this is getting them to work on tone. It's getting them to think about articulation. I might remind them, like, what's our favorite number in recorder? 2, because you're going 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 in your mouth as you're playing, as you're going through, you're thinking 2. And my favorite joke with fourth graders is to like try and like as genuine as I can say, and fourth graders, remember, we just want to have beautiful tooting. We want our tooting to be the best tooting we can possibly do. And we want everyone to know that in the music room, we are doing some great tooting. Our tooting, and the more I say tooting and like I'm very sincere about that, the more that the fourth graders like slowly start to lose it. And I go, not that kind of tooting, like on your recorder, like toot, toot, toot. And then they like really lose it. But it's funny, and then also it does get them to think about that toot, 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 toot sound as we're playing. Okay, so we go through B, we go through A, we go through G with a sustain, with a blink, with a pattern, we do all of that. And then I took inspiration from this book, Orchestral Applications for the Classroom by Brigitte Warner. It's a great, great book. If you've taken like level 1, maybe level 2, level 3. It gets in the weeds. It is not a beginner's book. I've spent some time with Orff, and this is like a fun, deeper dive. If you have no experience, I would not start there. I would start with this book, Elementaria. This is a great book to start with if you've not done any Orff and you want to get like your feet wet. But Orchestral Applications for the Classroom, I would say not where you start, but it is a really cool book. And one of the things she talks about is with recorder, well, instrument in general, but with recorder especially, we get this idea that like you must like again sit in proper and whatever in band, and like think about like this is the way we hold and this way we play, but why? And so to get kids thinking about all the ways we can play and move and be, and then the recorder feels more natural. So this based on Brigitte's ideas, I have kids like lay down and echo. I have them sit. I have them kneel. I have them kneel on their other knee. I have them sit crisscross on a chair. I have them walk around. I have like move in lots of different ways and try recorder in different ways. It has been hilarious. It really like helps kids relax into it and not be so stressed about it. It also relieves tension in the body, so they're not sitting holding and feeling that tension in their body because they're moving, they're doing stuff. So then I say, okay, on B or A or G, you get to choose. I don't care, whichever one you're going to do. You're either going to do what we did before. You're either going to sustain a long note, or you're going to blink, or you're going to do a pattern. So you could do, or you could do, or a slow blink, I guess, or some kind of pattern. And you're going to walk around the room, wherever you're going. You're just choose that one note, and you're either going to sustain it, you're going to blink it, or you're going to do a pattern. And so they go, they walk, they're going in and out amongst each other. And then I stop them, I say, okay, great. If you chose A, now you can choose B or G, but you can't come back to A. Choose a different note, do the same thing. They walk, they choose, they blink, they do whatever. Okay, great, now choose your third one. Whichever one was the one that you just haven't done, the last one you haven't done, do the same thing. They're walking. So then they're hearing things as they go, they're hearing different patterns. Maybe they're switching, maybe they're like, I don't really care if they are actually like switching between notes or doing other stuff. This is trying to get them to think about doing that. So anyway, they're going, exploring, and playing. And then I say, okay, stop. Whichever note you are playing, I need you to walk and find someone else who is playing that same note. Okay, I'm not unaware. They're probably not they might be listening for the same note to try and like pitch match. They're probably just looking for the fingers. If your fingers are doing what my fingers are doing, then I know you're playing the same note. That's fine. Then that means they understand there's a correlation between the sound and the note and which fingers are putting down. I don't care. But I have them walk around and tell that. I don't say like, hey, who's playing A? They have to walk around and find someone who's playing that. And so then they pair off and they're looking at each other playing the note. Eventually, we mostly pair off. Today, I had like 1 or 2 kids who couldn't find a pair, and so I had them go together. Like one was playing B, one was playing G, whatever. So they go up together. It's just a way to make partners. So they go and they make partners, and then I say, okay, whoever is older, figure out whoever is older. So they figure between the two of them which one is the older kid. I said, great, whoever is older, you are going to get to tell the other kid what to play. Except you don't get complete freedom. You must use this rhythm. And I draw on the board ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, or ta, 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 di, ta. Or sorry, Instagram, it looks backwards, but it's from left, from left to right. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Okay, so I put that on the board, and then so I say, so you could say like B, 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 or you could say A, 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 A. You could say G, 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 or you could be devious and say like B, A, G, G, G. I don't care. But if you're the older kid, you get to tell them what to play, and they have to play it. So it's like echo, but like you're speaking it to them. So instead of kids trying to like listen and play and pitch match this other kid who's sitting in front of them while everyone else is going around them, I'm using letter names so that they can like find the pitch a little bit faster. So they do it. The kids try it. I let them try a couple examples, and then they switch spots, right? So then the younger kid gets to tell the older kid what to play. I give them, again, the same rhythm, and I say with B or A or G or mixing it up, whatever you want, you got to play, and then you could say it and they play it. And I do a couple of those. They go back and forth. And then I say, okay, great. Now the rhythm is ti, ti, ta, ti, ti, ta. Or I say ta, di, ta, ta, di, ta. Same idea with B or A or G. You give them the rhythm, you say it, and they play it. And then maybe we say, okay, as an extension, choose that rhythm. Together, choose a rhythm you're going to play. Maybe make a melody out of it. Can you put 2 in a row and make a melody out of it? Can you like come up with something you can play together? So first it is, wandering around, playing, sustaining, trying different things, coming up with patterns. Then it's you're playing with someone, you're telling them what to play, you're in a little bit in control, they're having to play a little bit. It's again echoing, imitating, playing, trying, and then it's coming up with a melody together. But all those steps are to come up to kids come up with some cool, good answers, actually. And so today when I had them try it out, it was super, super fun. They definitely felt more relaxed because they felt like they were not on the spot. It was not like you must play what's on the screen. It was with the notes they were familiar and comfortable with, and then playing around with those notes and moving around and doing that made them more comfortable with those notes. And then by the time they got to like giving the other person the idea and answer, it was hilarious because the first kid is like, if you're the older kid, you're going to sing like ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. You might say B, B, A. If you want to be devious, you could do B, G, A, G, or B, G, G, A, B. Ooh, you'd be really devious. And then like, and I said, but don't be too devious because in a second you're going to be switching jobs. And the younger kid, if you're so devious to them and you give them a really hard pattern to play, they're going to give you a hard pattern back. And so it's like fun to see them like pass back and forth. It feels like a game, but mostly it's just like echoing, right? They're just like echoing and playing very simple notes. But the more we do stuff like this, the more comfortable they get playing the note, the more comfortable they get playing at different situations, different places, trying different things. They're improvising because they're trying new stuff. Sometimes they're accidentally improvising because they're not exactly following the pattern I gave them, but that's fine. It means that they're getting to explore and do more with it. So this was just a super simple, easy thing. It took maybe 5 to 10 minutes of my lesson. And then we went into, echo through something else, or more structured improvisation, or play a song. I mean, like, this can be just a part of your lesson. It doesn't have to be the whole lesson. It can be a part of your lesson. But in this process, we really did work on intonation because they were having to listen to all the people around them playing the same thing or different things, depending on the time. They had to work on articulation because I was asking them not just sustain, but also like to blink a note or to give it a pattern, and talk about like tonguing and how you do that. We did work on improving because they did get to try and explore some of that and echo patterns back, create their own patterns. So we really did a lot in this short amount of time. It felt like it went so fast, but we hit a lot along the way. So when you're stuck on BAG and you're teaching recorder, you don't have to just play like hot cross buns or Suogan or whatever, Merrily We Roll Along. You're not stuck just reciting that. You can use that and make it a chance for improvisation to play around. Echoing doesn't just have to be you. It can be echoing students too. And the cool thing about that is the kids like it, number one, but also there's more efficacy for it because the kid is making a choice, not just the teacher making a choice. So you can still go around while they're working. This is nice while they're making choice, like saying, you play this, you play this. You can go around and check in on kids. You can listen, you can make adjustments. That's nice. You get freed up a little bit, but the kids like hearing from other kids. They like improving and echoing other kids too. So there's so many benefits from doing something like this, and it's super fun, exploratory, and kids really like it. So could you do this with other notes? Sure. If you want to add low E, low D, sure. You want to add high C and D? Sure. F sharp, whatever. You can add all that in and do the same thing with a different pitch set. I'm just doing it with the first couple of pitches we know. And it gives kids some good practice on those notes and exploration with those notes. Okay, this was just recorder idea number 1. I have lots more that I want to share in the coming weeks, but I hope this gave you some fun ideas. If you have questions about it, please leave those in the comments. As I said at the beginning of the video, if you have if you have pictures of any of the resources I have made in your own classroom, you could submit those. I'm doing a giveaway. 2 people will win a free access to my Patreon for a year for submitting photos, and everybody who enters and adds photos gets a free thank you gift. So click the links page to figure out how to do that. But I hope this gave you some ideas for recorder, and I hope I'll see you next week for another live video. Thanks for coming on, everyone.